Welcome to the Check Swing Podcast.
Got him. Sorry.
Well, I'm glad you got him.
I've been
We always
after
have
this.
a funny start here on the Check Swing Podcast. We always find a
You
way.
know how you get that big fat fly that starts to just like kind of like, and then
Mhm.
I finally
And,
got that sucker. He's been in this office for like 3 days.
well, I'm glad you were able to get him because I know how annoying that can be. But welcome to the Check Swing Podcast with myself and the star of the show, Mr. Coach Miguel. He is here and has put together quite an interesting show for you today. But of course, I like to start off every show by asking my people how they been. So, Miguel, how you been?
I'm a survivor.
You're a survivor. What you mean? You're a survivor. Keep on surviving. Yeah, I don't know the
I-
words, but go ahead.
no, survived the COVID. I got COVID. I got
Mm.
COVID from the man. Now let me stop. Let me stop with the conspiracy theory. Um, no, just it was scary for about 48 hours, but to God be the glory. Me and my wife made out quite all right.
Good, good. Well, definitely glad to hear that. I did see that you guys saw a certain comedian a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we saw
So,
Tony Baker,
Mr. Voiceover himself.
Mr. Voiceover. He did, yo, he did. He was there was I'm not gonna do his thing, but he did this bit about he's like, why are all the potholes so steamy in Baltimore? And then he was like, because they were there, that's where they get them good crab cakes from, because that's where the good crabs are. And he used the microphone to pull out like a fake crab out of the sewer and stuff. He's oh yeah, that's some good crab cakes there. He did the skip that dee. I was like, yes.
I know, man. I sent you a video today of him doing the skip that.
Yes, with the model. Yeah, that was funny. But
So it sounded
he's
like y'all enjoyed the show.
it was a great show. Great atmosphere. It was at the Baltimore Comedy Club, which is inside of a hotel, if you can imagine.
Okay.
But great atmosphere. He got buff, man. He just got swole. He came out. He was a yo. I was like, man, this dude got swole.
Yeah, he gets his workout in. He gets his walking in and all types of stuff. Yeah, he does quite a bit, man. He does his thing. Tony Baker, talented cat. Couple things on the agenda for today. Just a few things on the agenda for today. Summertime can be quite slow with on the sports scene. The Eagles start their training camp next week. We know that the track and field world championships are going on right now. I've been paying close attention to that, seeing a lot of good races, a lot of good rivalries being established, and some triumphs and some upsets as well. So if you haven't checked that out, I give you. I'll give you some advice and tell you should probably check that out. Um, Great competition, of course, with the Olympics coming up soon. You'll be able to know who these people are. But anyway, Sixers make an announcement today. We're going to start off with that. Start off with the Sixers announcement today. It's made quite the stir here in Philadelphia. Okay, quite the stir. People have been talking about it all day. It's been crazy. They announced plans to build a new arena in downtown Philadelphia, Market Street. They're going to call it 76 Plaza. Mixed reaction from people here in the city. I feel like funny thing is I feel like when the Phillies wanted to I think it was the Phillies
It
wanted to
was.
put a stadium in Chinatown. Everybody was like, "No, it's gonna be terrible." The Eagles wanted to go somewhere. It's gonna be terrible. But it seems like maybe they've turned around a little bit when it comes to the Sixers building a new arena downtown and in a pretty crowded kind of area. Miguel, you being from the city of brotherly love yourself, I know that we all know that now you are enjoying the good, delicious crab cakes of Baltimore. But what do you think about that with the Sixers announcing plans for a new arena maybe in about 8 9 years.
I think I love it. I personally love it. For a couple of reasons. I think the reason why there was such a hesitancy with the Phillies and with the Eagles, with the Phillies, they actually wanted to build in Chinatown and or where the old Inquirer building was on Broad and Spring Garden.
Hmm.
And then the with the Eagles, they actually wanted to use 30th Street Station. Remember, there was a whole big thing, with that.
Could you
Which I
imagine?
think the reason why I like the fact that the Sixers are trying to build along Market Street is because from a transportation standpoint, you would have no reason to park at this venue, and all the train stations, the regional rail coming in from the counties. You have the Broad Street subway, you have the Market Frankfurt L, you have the trolleys, you have the buses, all converging onto this one area. And you have the park and rides that some of them you pay a couple dollars for, so most of them are free. So that you can park close to where you live, and then just take the train, straight in, and then you have what Broad Street has, what the Phillies Express and all that. Um, and my thing is, like, if it's worked for Madison Square Garden for what 50, 60 years now, um, everybody kind of got smart. Was like, all right, why would I park downtown when I can take public transportation? And it's just kind of learning a new, habit. And even growing up, when me and my brothers and my family, we would say, hey, let's go down to the Phillies, let's go down to the Vet and watch a game. It was pretty much a straight shot in and out, taking the Broad Street subway. You know what I mean? It was
Hmm.
always an easy trip. Um, I like the fact that it's going to create jobs for the people in Philadelphia. Um, and I think, I think it's time that they start building these venues back in the heart of the cities. I know a lot of, places. There was a big thing with the Atlanta Braves Stadium, which is like out in, I think, the Cobb County or whatever, which is way out of the city limits of Atlanta. And you have a venue like in San Francisco, which is in Santa Clara, and it kind of takes away that home feel of some of these venues. So I like the location, um, and I just like the location.
You know, something you just said was very interesting, and you know how my mind works. Grew up an only child, so I'd start thinking about some crazy things. And I know you're going to say no, but I want you just to put when you get ready to say no, put 2 more seconds of thought into it, and that'll probably make it 3.5 seconds of thought.
Absolutely not. I'm saying no now. Go ahead.
Philadelphia is known as a blue collar city, right? Pack your lunch, pack your hard hat, grind your knuckles, get ready to fight, make it happen, right? The area in which the stadiums and arenas are now kind of gives you that feeling too. Tough, hard nosed, blue collar, pack your lunch, pack your hard hat, industrially, right off the Navy Yard type area. I feel like, and it's just me with 30 seconds worth of thought into it. I feel like if you put all the stadiums, all the arenas within the city itself, it kind of takes away from that. Kind of takes away from the toughness of it, and kind of gives it a like.
Putting all of the arenas together
No,
does
no, no,
that?
no, no, no. Putting the arenas within like downtown, like this one here,
Mhm.
like what the Sixers are saying. When you're putting it off Market Street, you're putting it, in the businessy districts. It kind of changes the whole feel of what it is, and that might be what they're going for. They might be trying to change the feel of the Sixers. Add the Sixers into your night out.
Mhm.
Do some shopping. Come to the Sixers games,
Yeah,
and
shop
well,
at
maybe not,
Bloomingdale's
and
and
then go
come
to the
on
Sixers
over and
game.
see
Yeah,
the
maybe not.
Sixers.
Maybe not that. But here's one other thought that I was thinking about. And this is kind of superficial in a sense, but it really has nothing to do with me or you for that matter, or anybody. But Villanova, we know, plays um, no more than like 3 games at the Wells Fargo Center just in case they have a number one seed and are able to play home games. If they play more than 3 games at the Wells Fargo Center and Philadelphia's hosting tournament games, they cannot play there. They cannot play in a home arena more than 3 games. It's now considered your home arena. Does what is going on in this house? Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's about to be some furniture moving around here, man. I'm telling you, everybody messing up my train of thought. Um, so if Villanova, like, I wonder if like Villanova could play it sweet and like play home games at this arena when 10 years from now, at this arena, and still have home games at Wells Fargo if the NCAA hosts tournaments in Philadelphia. That would
Yeah,
be interesting to see.
it would be. I think it would just give them an extra venue because now you would have two places in the city of brotherly love to play. You know what I mean? You could play more games in Philadelphia.
I think high school basketball playoff games should be played there too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It gives the city, it gives it more of a central. Like right now, they play a lot of them either at the Palestra or at McGonagall. I'm not McGonagall Hall. Oh wow,
The
dating
Lear,
myself here.
the,
Leah Chorus Center. But now you will have a centralized fleet. I think it's a good idea. Like from what you said, it creates jobs. Maybe if Rick Ross becomes part of the ownership, then we'll get some wing stop in there, some of those lemon pepper wings, because them lemon pepper wings are pretty doggone good. Um, but it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see. It definitely would give a whole different feel to the team. It would. You know what it does, Miguel? As I'm looking at this picture right now, I'm looking at it and it's kind of swanky, kind of sleek, kind of futuristic. It gives the Sixers a primetime feel
Mhm.
here in Philadelphia. So in the city, of course, we know the Eagles own the city, right? And then it's probably the Sixers, then the Phillies, then the Flyers.
I'd actually. I mean, I don't want to.
Now
It's
go
just,
ahead.
and it's not my personal thing with basketball, but I would put the Sixers as the last team in
Yeah, but
Philadelphia.
you're wrong. You're wrong. So I thought you were going to say third. I was going to let it slide, but you say the last team. You're wrong.
Well,
You're absolutely wrong about that.
uh,
Because because here I'm gonna tell you why.
no, you know
I'm,
what? You're
I'm
right.
going to
No, no,
ask
no,
you this question,
no, no, no. You're right.
and your answer is going
The
to
Flyers, the
go first.
Flyers would be last, but the Sixers probably would be third,
Sixers would be third
and
in
the
a
Flyers
given.
would be
If the
last.
Phillies are good, if the Phillies are good and the Sixers are not, the Phillies come up in front of the Sixers. However, they don't really share playing time during the same season. I mean, towards the end of basketball season, beginning baseball season, and towards the beginning basketball season, and no, not even because maybe the very end of baseball season, but they don't really clash. Football clashes a little bit more. Anyway, go back to what I'm saying. It kind of to me takes the Sixers out of the, like, it's almost like they're their own entity. Now, growing up, and maybe this is just me, growing up here with all 4 teams playing in the same place in the same area, it kind of gave it like, these are the 4 team, like it's Phillies, Eagles, like when you say 4 for 4, you go down there to see all these teams. It kind of gives the Sixers a different feel. It kind of gives them more of a swanky, upscale feel to me.
Would you say the same? It's kind of like what Brooklyn did with the Nets, because that's what I felt when when the Nets moved to Brooklyn, and it was the Barclays Center,
You know what?
and
Yes.
they were exclusive until the Islanders, the hockey team, came over. But
Mhm.
even the Islanders are going back to Long Island because they figured out their financial situation. So it's about to be the Brooklyn Nets by themselves again.
Yeah, I think I would say the same thing about that. I think when the Nets moved to Brooklyn, it gave them more of a swanky feel, just a little bit. I actually have been to that arena. Well, not inside the arena, but I've been outside the arena, and you know, there's like a mall across the street. It's like you can shop and a whole bunch of. It gives them a kind of like a swanky feel. Um, when they show the sky shot, I forgot what they're called, but it's B roll, but I forgot what it's actually called when they show that the beauty shot or whatever glamour shot. You see the shopping district, you see the traffic and stuff like that. When they show they show that beauty shot here in Philly, they usually just show Liberty One, Liberty Two. They don't show the stadiums themselves too much. And only traffic you really see is going down 95.
And it's funny that you say that because one of the people that the owners of the Sixers teamed up with is actually, I think he was a former season ticket holder, or was it, or is, but he's a land developer, and he was the one that was integral in the research and the redevelopment of Penn's Landing. But the problem is Penn's Landing was so poorly done originally that whole redevelopment kind of fell through because they wanted to cap Penn's Landing where 95 sits. But in order to do that, you actually have to dig a trench about 5 to 10 feet deeper to cover 95 to make Penn's Landing what it should have been. So he said he learned from that project what not to do for this particular project for the 76ers. So
Gotta
it's
learn from
nice.
mistakes.
What'd you say?
Gotta learn from mistakes.
Got to learn from mistakes, but it also is, nice to see somebody local um kind of take hold of the project because
Yeah,
you've been down Market Street the last what 5 6 years, right? And have you noticed the kind of feel that it's changed? I mean, you got the gallery, which is now quote unquote the fashion district, which is
fashion district. Yeah, they're trying to. Philly is attempting to become an upscale. They're trying to bring it. They're trying to bring the attention back to the city. The attention back to downtown.
right. And
Um,
what they did was they hired a New York developer. That's the reason why you see like all the tickers and why it's like bright and sunny at like 2 in the morning
mhm.
along Market Street. Um, so I don't know, it's different, from what I'm used to. I think I'm just used to Philly messing up redevelopment projects, and between the Will Smith thing at Broad Washington and the indoor Disney on 8th and Market that was a parking lot for 25 years, it's like you're kind of used to like seeing stuff not developed like this. So
Yeah, you know what? It is kind of weird to see big time developments happening in Philly. Yeah, you're right. We're not really used to it here. We're not used to it. We're
yeah,
just not.
it was like just not being used to winning in the 90s with the Phillies. Like we just weren't used to it.
Except for that one time. Well,
The
we
93
didn't. We
team,
didn't. Yeah, we
that,
didn't. We didn't close the deal, but yeah,
yeah, that 93 team was a fluke, but
it was. But it was fun.
it was
It was
fun.
probably the most fun fluke in the city.
Yes, it was.
It's probably the most fun fluke in the city.
Yes.
Um, let's move on a little bit. Let's move on to a little bit of baseball. A little bit of baseball in your life. Um, and let's talk about the Phillies, and let's talk about a former Philly too. And of course, I'm talking about Jonathan Papelbon, who I forgot. Yeah, we just got a picture of him adjusting his cup on the screen, but it's all good. I forgot he was even a Philly, but he was being interviewed recently, and he was asked about the Phillies for whatever reason, and he basically said the Phillies were an ish show, a pit show, a word that rhymes with pit that I don't really want to say. Um, and he said that they lack leadership, and and then he went in on Bryce Harper, and as you can see there, as Miguel has eloquently saved some pictures for us. Top left hand corner. That's Jonathan Papelbon adjusting his athletic supporter when he was being booed by the fans here in Philadelphia. Obviously, he couldn't handle it. Pardon the pun. Sorry. Um, no pun intended, I should say. And then in the bottom corner, you see Papelbon and Bryce Harper getting into it, having words when they both played for the Washington Nationals. And Bryce Harper on this actual particular play, Bryce Harper hit a pop fly didn't run it out. I don't even remember why they had words, why Papelbon had words for Harper in this particular situation, but he did, um, and then they had and they I want to say exchanged blows, but I don't know if any landed. But they exchanged words and basically, they put the paws on each other. Miguel, what was your thoughts when you saw this article? Because I feel like you probably saw it right around the same time that I did.
Yeah, he. The thing about Papelbon is the thing about Philly sports is that, and I think we've talked about this quite a bit, is that you have to be a certain type of player to be successful in this city. Um, there was a reason why Chase Utley, a California boy, Jimmy Rollins, another California guy, there was a reason why they were able to be successful in Philadelphia in that they didn't let stuff bother them. And I think Papelbon is kind of an attention whore. Although, no offense to whores out there. But he,
Good one.
so I apologize. So he got interviewed by a gambling website, which is I believe called Betway, some crap. But
Yes.
it actually even mentioned like for some reason he just has this thing about Philadelphia. So the quote is, it's always been kind of chaotic in Philadelphia with the fans, with the players, with the front office. It's like a ish show there. And for me, I see the ish show continuing. I mean, they fired their manager, what, 2 months into the season? And I think they won like 12 in a row, but he forgets to mention that. I mean, they fired their manager 2 months in the season. As long as that stuff happens, Philadelphia will never win again. Philadelphia will never get back to the playoffs. Then he brings up something that was kind of like contradictory. He says, when they brought in me, Cliff Lee, and Roy Holiday, everybody started getting hurt. And the issue began after that, I believe. It's been nothing but down here for the Phillies since then, and there hasn't been anything even close to resembling a postseason run. Then he talks about the leadership. I don't necessarily see Bryce Harper being a huge leader of the team because he was never really a leader when I played with him. He kind of went about his own business and more was a me guy or an I guy and wasn't really into what was happening in the clubhouse and didn't have that pull for the team. Now, I see what he's saying there, but I think what you have to understand is like not every player is built to be the rah rah guy. And I can point to again Chase Utley. Chase Utley wasn't the guy that was a hey guys, let's get our head out of our butts, da 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 da. But he was the unspoken leader on the team. You know what I mean? That's kind
Yeah,
of what
absolutely.
there were other players. And even if you want to go back even further, Mike Schmidt wasn't really that guy. Mike Schmidt didn't really become that guy until he had a guy named Pete Rose come in. And then Pete Rose was the one that kind of gave him the confidence to be a leader. There are some players, even the great ones, that literally they come in, they go about their business, but they just don't have that thing where they can, pull guys together. That's why a lot of championship teams you see kind of a mixture of, the great players, but the ones that are like great leaders, because some great leaders are not great players.
Yeah. For me, I agree with what you said. Leadership comes in different ways. I don't know what's going on. My nose just got a little stuffy just now. Excuse me. Um, some of the things that he said, like I can understand. Like so there are bits and pieces of his statement that have merit. They haven't had anything that looked like a postseason run since he's been gone. That's true. Um, a lot of the time that he's been gone has been a rebuilding period too. Uh, Leadership. Now, the way you just laid it out was perfect. People lead in different ways. Some people lead by example. Some people lead because they're a rah rah guy. Chase Utley was more of a leader by example, where Jimmy Rollins was a leader, was more of a rah rah guy, but he also led by example. Ryan Howard was kind of a lead by example guy. He wasn't the big talker. You didn't hear about him, talking a lot of talk and stuff like that.
We need to
Um,
delete Ryan Howard from this show. He should still be playing. He's
yeah,
lazy.
if Pujols is still playing. Like I feel like he should still be playing. But
He won
injuries
Albert
happen.
Pujols won a round in the home run derby, and Ryan Howard is still sitting in retirement, still trying to figure out how to hit a damn curveball.
Well, Ryan Howard has, he has a restaurant now,
Good for him.
and I think one of his locations are no, I don't. I'm not sure. I don't think it's at the stadium. It might be in Jersey, but
Do you
I
hear
want
this
to try.
conversation? He
Huh?
he's instead of him hitting the curveball, he's serving meatballs. Like seriously?
No, I think it's a chicken place.
Oh, he's serving chicken parm. Good for him. Jackpot.
um, but yeah, that leadership, that team that we had, there was the Jimmy was the rah rah guy. He would do it in front of the camera. Chase was the behind the scenes guy. We think we kind of assume, like we don't know that we weren't there, but that's what has kind of come up from that. I'll be honest with you, from what I've seen, and like we're not in the clubhouse and all like that. Bryce seems more like a rah rah guy. Maybe he is about himself. I don't know, but he seems more like a rah rah leader. Maybe not all in the camera saying things, but he has. I feel like Bryce has been almost like a pleasant surprise in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I mean he's saying the right things, doing the right things. I think him and Schwarber together work out well. I have a bad feeling about Castellanos though, and I really think that he really needs to consider selling the condo that he bought from Ben Simmons. I just think he I think the Juge is bad. I think he's got that non-competitive juice from being passed off to him. He needs to just get rid of that and just move out to the suburbs or something, so he can get his swing back because he's lost his swing ever since he moved into Ben Simmons' old place.
Yeah. Oh, I heard. Was it? It was last week. I think it was last week that I heard something interesting about Castellanos. He has a very interesting stat. One that you really wouldn't know about unless you just read the article I read. He has a he has an uncanny ability to hit a home run during a somber moment. And I wish I had the article in front of me to tell you exactly. But there were like three moments when he played. What did he play for the Reds
Play for
before?
the Reds and Detroit Tigers.
And I think it was with the Reds where it was like they were announcing the death of somebody and on the broadcast, and like he hit a home run. And then there was like Memorial Day. They were like a somber moment, for the Memorial Day dedication, and he hits a home run. And there was like another death or something, and he hit a home run in that situation. So maybe you know what? I'm not even going to say what I was going to say because that's terrible to say.
I think we were on the same wavelength though.
It's terrible to say, but what I will say is
Turn it on to Channel 6 Action News.
maybe somber moments is what he needs to get off the schneid because he. I
It's
don't like to harp on athletes, especially professional athletes, too much, but he's struggling.
you know what though I feel from a coach from as a coach because and I don't I'm not putting anybody on blast or anything like that, but I felt like my the team that I'm coaching, we were up in in a tournament this past weekend, and it just seemed like we were kind of lost at the plate.
Hmm.
It wasn't just one player; it felt like it was everybody. That we just and that's the look that Castellanos has right now. It's like every time he like swings, it could be something like 2-0, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get something somewhat over the plate. Um, but it just looks like he's guessing, like on everything. And he just looks like, and now it's to the point where he's like emotionless after a swing and miss, and it's just like
It's probably hard. It's probably weighing heavy on him at this point. He comes into a new city,
absolutely.
big time contract, big deal, and he's done nothing. Um, Another thing I read in that article, a majority of his home runs come off the first two pitches of an at bat.
Yeah,
I found that interesting too.
yeah, because I think the further he goes into an at bat, the more of a bad guesser he is, or he just, yeah,
Gets to thinking and stuff.
yeah, because I have two or three players in particular. They fall into that category. Like they got to swing within the first two pitches, or the at bat is not going to be successful. And then I also have like three or four guys that, like, I swear 90% of the time they start off 0-2, and it's like frustrating, but then all of a sudden they're 9 pitches into the at bat and they're battling, and then they'll work a walk. So it's like, you know, that's what you hope for in every at bat, but
And quality at bats. Yeah.
yeah, and it's hard because, I don't know if it's lack of confidence or they're hearing something from their parents or both, but it just seems like there's that, that trigger. They just won't pull it. There could be three doors standing in front of them, and I could tell them that like 90% chance that the door to the middle is going to have a box full of $5 million. It just seems like they'll be like, well, let me try back tomorrow. And I'm like, what?
Chase McLaughlin says, "Yo, Coach Santa."
Chase McLaughlin, he's the future. He was on our
I
14U
believe
team.
the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Chase is
Show them the greatness that's
he
inside. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you went all the way in, Jesus.
I didn't we talk about like coming to America on this show a couple weeks
Yeah,
ago?
a couple times.
So I just had to go on with it since we had to just
No,
go.
Chase is 14U at the Rawlings Prospects, and he's gonna do some damage. He's already taller than me, so that's half the battle. But I've never seen a ball jump off a young man's bat like I've seen with this kid. So remember that name, Chase McLaughlin.
Hey Chase, there's a team up here in Pennsylvania that could use your services.
Yeah, he's a
That's all I got.
he's a seafood guy. I don't know if he likes cheesesteaks and pretzels.
Do you want me to pop this picture in there that you?
Well, that was for the next topic.
Oh, okay.
If you wanted to touch it, if you're not, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, I do. I do absolutely want to go into this time. I think it's so interesting. I'm so fascinated by it and by the prospectus of it. And you're talking about the NILs for high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the name, image, and likeness. The PIAA is looking to move into the direction of they're actually going to put a vote together for allowing high school athletes to benefit financially off their name, image, and likeness. To be honest, Miguel, you know what's funny about this? I didn't know high school athletes couldn't already benefit off that. And I know it sounds crazy because once you get paid, you're considered professional by the NCAA. But like I feel like as a high school athlete, you don't sign papers that say you're not going to benefit off your name, image, and likeness. You don't sign when you go to college and play a sport. You sign papers that say you're not going to benefit off your name, image, and likeness. The NCAA can use a picture of you in one of their advertisements, and you're not going to benefit from it. Basically, you're not going to benefit from anything except you're going to get an education, blah, blah, blah. Even if you have a job, you can't make more a certain amount into your scholarship or whatever the case, something like that. I didn't know that high school athletes couldn't benefit from it.
Which, I mean,
I'm sorry. Yes, I did, but No, I didn't, because when I think about a movie like Above the Rim, and Tupac's character had a summer league team, and they let's take it away from that movie. But let's say you have a team and you're providing your team with this, that, and the third. You're providing your team with favors and all like that. You're paying for food for this kid and stuff like that. Technically, that's an NCAA violation, but it happens all the time. Like, people buy an athlete something, like if it's your uncle, they try to say that they're not supposed to spend the money on you. Like, you could influence them to go somewhere, but now they're looking to go beyond that. Go ahead. I want to let you get your thoughts in, because I'm so fascinated by this topic.
It's I mean, at the end of the day, it's about who's getting most of the pie. You know what I mean? The reason why the NCAA held on to that amateurism thing was because at the end of the day, they wanted everybody at the top level to make as much money as possible, on the backs of, I hate to say like slave labor, but it's like, that's kind of what it's identical to.
Mm.
Um, and they basically, I mean, it's just like with the pros. Like, at the end of the day, the owners, the billionaires, want to stay billionaires, even though the millionaires want a piece of that $1 trillion pot. Um, I was surprised that um there was a push at the high school level, but then when I see, and you and I experience with, tournament baseball and the showcases and stuff like that, and seeing kind of the disparity of kind of pay to play, so to speak.
Mm.
Because we have, we played a team uh in New York this past weekend that was sponsored by Marucci, and then we played another team that was sponsored by um uh well, us, like Rawlings, and then another one that was sponsored by all these different organizations. Yet there wasn't really, it's kind of like the unspoken thing at the high school level, you know image and likeness, because their pictures are taken and they're posted on these websites. Not that, too many people are making money, but like a program like Perfect Game, you see that image of, Bryce Harper from back in the day, or like Justin Crawford, who just got drafted from the Phillies,
Mm.
and it's like their image and likeness is being used to bring people into, Perfect Game tournaments and showcases. So it's like, but Justin Crawford and, all the other former major leagues got nothing out of it. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that they're kind of jumping ahead of it. Um, and even in what they're considering, they're saying that athletes cannot wear school uniforms in any of these promotions. They may not make reference to the PIAA or their school team. Boosters, coaches, and alums also cannot provide or negotiate any NIL deals. And then certain products are not permitted to be endorsed by athletes, like adult entertainment, alcohol, controlled substances, opioids, gambling, all that other good stuff. But
So here's what fascinates me. Now, I understand why coaches, boosters, and all that cannot negotiate deals, because you basically can entice a kid to come to your school saying, "Look, you come play basketball, baseball, football, track, whatever for me. I'll get you a deal with this car dealership that everybody knows you. I'll get you a deal with this hoagie spot. I'll get you a deal with this I don't know, barbershop, tattoo shop, whatever the case may be." I get that part. Um, but what they are looking to allow, and the restrictions that they put on it, don't you kind of think that it's been allowed, and they just don't want coaches and boosters and stuff getting involved? Like, they're actually just kind of, if you think about it, they're actually just kind of making a statement saying, if they allow, like, if they vote to make it happen, they're making a statement that's basically saying we're allowing something that's, oh, you could have always had somebody pay you to do something as long as you're not mentioning your school, your whatever. If people know who you are and they paying you for who you are to advertise them, it's always been allowed.
Well, I mean, think about it like let's remove sports out of it. What if they were actors?
Hmm.
You know, all these child actors. It's like, you know, if a movie studio comes in and says this kid is like the next Gerber baby, number one, they usually negotiate with the parent, and then the parent or whoever the guardian is handles all
Right,
that stuff.
right.
So, you know, but then you become a child star, then throughout that entire time, you know, you're getting endorsements, you're on Nickelodeon and stuff like that. So why is it any different from an athletic standpoint? It's just a matter of who you're negotiating with. You know what I mean? You can't
Mhm.
negotiate directly with the child. You know, you obviously would do it through the parent. So I think, you know, it may get parents more involved, which
Oh,
could actually
absolutely.
be which could be a negative thing. And I only say that because again, we're fighting with you and I as coaches with the pay to play. You know, basically if you don't have the money, you know, you're not gonna be able to play in the most ideal tournaments or be able to play at like JMU or Old Dominion or, you know, go to these showcases that cost a ton of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think it still may become an issue of the haves and the have-nots. But I think at the end of the day, I believe that the intent is to protect the athlete. Um, so I'm kind of okay with it. It's just a matter of, you know, if I see like the next, you know, Adrian Beltre at the age of 13 and I want him to endorse a product of mine, like what does that look like? You know, do I say, hey, Adrian Beltre, you're gonna advertise BMWs, but you can't drive. You know what I mean? You can't see over the steering wheel.
Right.
Like, how does that work? You know, are you just gonna be like, this backseat is fantastic? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I guess it has to be smart for the company that
it
wants to do the
does.
advertising too.
Yeah. So
Like, so if you see the next Adrian Belche and you make batting gloves,
right.
now you put your batting gloves on this kid, and he's playing in these tournaments, and he's the best kid on the team. Now his teammates
Bro,
oh, I want those gloves.
bro, do you realize what's gonna happen to the Little League World Series now?
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
It's gonna be insane.
It's going to
That
be
home
crazy. They're
run
going to have
brought
their
you.
own. They're going to have their own commercials.
Oh my goodness, it's gonna be insane. But it's like, but I don't know. I think it's a weird dynamic because now you're gonna have athletes asking for negotiated settlements before they get into college. You know what I mean? It's
and
setting up
and
for
and they should, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because ain't no guarantee that once they get to college, they're going to be the athlete that they were in high school. So
true,
get the money while you can. If they're
man.
going to pay you, get the money while you can. Because there are people that go to high school, this big time athlete, and they don't pan out. They don't end up going pro, or they may go pro and they're out of the game within 3 years.
Wow.
I say get the money while you can,
You hear that,
and
Chase?
within the parameters of the rules.
You hear that, Chase?
Hopefully, he hears it.
Get Marucci on board. Tell him you want 6 free wooden bats per 6 months. The maple John, so they don't crack.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Or the bamboo.
The
The
bamboo.
bamboo. Um, you got a stumper for me today, Miguel?
I think I got a stumper. You're probably gonna. So you're on a streak right now. You are on a streak, my friend, of like I think it's
Oh
nine.
Lord.
It's like 9 in a row.
One time All Star, played for 72 teams, number 28. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to guess some of these teams. 49. I'm gonna guess that is the Rays.
No,
Yeah, I was wrong. I'm gonna come back to that one later. The Phillies, 28. The Phillies, 28 Cubs. 28 Reds.
Rangers.
I'm talking about all. So is the maroon and the red Phillies?
Yes,
28, 28, 99.
because
They're all Phillies.
he
Oh, he
played for
played
the
with two different eras.
Phillies. Uh, the last two jerseys that they had. So he played with them when they were in the burgundy, and then they switched to the current pinstripes, and then he
With
changed
a
his
number
mind.
like 99, it's got to be a pitcher, right?
You're warm.
I'm warm.
Yes, it is a pitcher.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. What are the teams? You got the Phillies.
The Texas Rangers,
Uh huh.
the Chicago Cubs,
Okay.
the Philadelphia Phillies,
Okay.
the Houston Astros,
Oh, the Astros. Okay.
the California Angels,
Okay.
and the Kansas City Royals.
Give me the time span of the career.
1986 to 1998.
And was a pitcher.
You're gonna kick yourself.
Not really.
You're gonna go into your office and beat the living hell out of yourself.
So, um, when he made his one All Star game, what team was he playing for?
I want to say the Phillies, but I actually could be wrong about that because he was pretty good on two or three of the teams.
Give me the teams again. It was the Cubs.
Cubs, Rangers, Phillies, Astros, Angels, and Royals.
So it's not Heathcliff Slocum. It's not.
Dude, whenever you talk about pitchers, you always bring up Heathcliff Slocum. I don't know what it is about him.
It's not Joe Table because he played for the. He also played for Cleveland. Who? What pitcher played for the Phillies? Then went to the Astros.
All right, so the All Star, the one-time All Star, he was with the Cubs. So he
And
was
that
an
was his
all
first team.
his second team. His first team was with the Rangers, then he was with the Cubs, and then he got an All Star. He was an All Star there. Then he came to the Phillies.
Damn. Was he a starting pitcher or was he a relief pitcher? Or was he a closer?
He was a relief pitcher. He was a closer.
He was a closer. Play for no, that wouldn't be it.
Say it. Remember?
It's not. It's not. It's not. I was gonna say Brad Lidge, but that's not it.
That's incorrect. Yeah.
Uh,
And I keep forgetting that you're bad with numbers.
yeah, I am. 90. I'm not 99. See, I don't remember anybody play for, like the Royals were good like one time in my lifetime. So I don't remember anybody
So
playing.
put it this way: the Royals was the very, very last team you played for.
Yeah, and if it was in the 2000 in the 90s, then I couldn't tell you anybody played for the Royals in the 90s, except for like Zach Greinke or something. I don't know.
So so
But
he played 3 years with Texas, 2 years with Chicago, and 3 years with the Phillies.
I do feel like I'm going to kick myself. And a
Oh.
one-time All-Star. Yeah, anybody watching, if y'all got the answer, go ahead and let me know because I'm I'm not going to say I'm stumped yet because, but I'm very close to saying it. Are you able to give me any hint?
If I give you, it's one hint that like you would
I would automatically get it.
just automatically get it. Come on, come on.
I got it. I got it. I know it. I got it. I got it. Mitch Williams. Wild thing.
You
Mitch
got it.
Williams. I forgot he played for Kansas City. Hell, I forgot he played for all those teams except for the Phillies and the Astros.
So historical fact: the night that the Phillies, when he gave the home run to Joe Carter, was the first time I ever broke a wooden bat.
Really?
I had this Louisville Slugger. It was a 34-34, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my mom had this bench that was in the kitchen. It was like the sink was here and the bench was here. And I remember I was so pissed off because Roger Mason had pitched two shutout innings, David West had pitched two shutout innings, but Jim Fregosi always went with his guy. But he was atrocious. He already blew two saves in the playoffs and all that. And I remember taking the bat, I like wound up and I just went, wow.
What,
And I remember
what
the
did you
bat
hit?
going like the bat went like this. And
What
I
did
was
you
like,
hit?
huh?
What did you hit?
I hit a bench.
Ooh. I, I'll tell you what I remember from that. Well, I think I told you before. I'm just glad that when that happened, I fell asleep. I was in of course I was at my parents' house. I was in the basement. My dad and I were watching the game. I fell asleep. And my dad woke me up to let me know, time to go to bed, you asleep, whatever, whatever. And I think he told me that they lost. And I was like, oh, they lost? Okay. But I'm half asleep, not thinking about it. And go up to my room and there was a TV in his room, and I guess turn the TV on or whatever. And I see the Blue Jays celebrating all crazy. And
Mhm.
that's when it hit me like, oh wow, that's right. If they lost the whole thing. I think like if I had saw it happen, I probably would have cried my eyes out. I
Yeah.
probably would have like broke down. I probably would have never been the same. I think God knew that I couldn't handle seeing that happen and made me fall asleep.
And I think that was for me. It was the first time I was ever angry at a Phillies loss because I was 13 at the time, so I'm just starting to play travel ball. I'm just starting to like get good at baseball. And '93 was the first season like I watched almost every. I had like recorded like 12 games on VHS. Like a dork.
Did you stay up for the all night doubleheader?
I did not. I didn't stay up for that one. I did not stay up for the 20 inning game because they can kiss my butt. And both games were on Prism at the time, and I didn't have cable that year.
I stayed up. I stayed. Well, no, I didn't. I didn't stay up for the double hitter, the double header. Um, but I did fall asleep in front of the TV, and I like woke up like in the middle of the night, and they were still playing, and I just thought that it was crazy, the craziest thing. I remember like waking up, going to the bathroom, and like watching some of the game. I think I
Yeah,
fell right back asleep. Once again,
yeah,
I was in the basement again watching the game.
yeah. I was. It was a game four in that series when the Phillies lost 15-14.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had fallen asleep during all the hullabaloo, and I had woke up just as Devon White hit the go ahead double in the right center, and Ricky Henderson's coming home with his hands in the air, and then Mitch Williams is like all dejected and stuff, and that's when I was like, he's not the closer anymore. And then Game Six, there he is.
That Blue Jays team was stacked.
I mad respect. They knew how to build that team. I was happy for the fact I was happy because remember Cito Gasson was the first um was he the first black manager to win a World Series?
He
I
might have
believe
been.
I believe he was. I believe he was because that was their second year. Remember they beat your Braves the year before that.
Yes. So it made me double hate the Blue Jays.
I could never. You know what? Even with that win, I couldn't hate the Blue Jays. It was just
I
something.
did. I hated the Blue Jays for a very long time. I
I
hated the
had.
Blue Jays until we got Doc Holliday. Think about that. And I used to rock a Blue Jays hat and a Blue Jays t-shirt too, just because my favorite color was blue. I liked it. But Let me get your stump questions.
And you, sir, have continued the streak. You are now, I believe, at 7 in a row.
Well, I think we're gonna have to start like timing it, like because it takes me forever sometimes. Oh, I think you're gonna do well in this category. The category is baseball.
Hey,
Hopefully,
fantastic.
hopefully it's not questions that you already have because I already put the cards away. Oh, this is easy. This is easy. You can answer the question before I'm finished if you want. What team did the Montreal Expos become when they relocated from
Washington
Canada?
Nationals.
All right. Question number two. Which pitcher was the first to win the Cy Young Award in both the American League and National League?
Oh man,
There are, I can give you the multiple choice.
the first ever. Uh,
Let me know if you want the multiple choice.
yeah. What's the multiple choice?
Your multiple choices are Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, Gaylord Perry, Roy Halladay.
Gaylord Perry.
Gaylord Perry is correct. Correct the mundo. Gaylord Perry is the first player to win a Cy Young in both American and National Leagues. Um, Third question: which player celebrated his 100th career home run by running the bases backwards?
Oh man, I say that because I read the story about it. Because the guy actually had a mental issue. Oh my goodness.
Do you want the multiple choice?
Yes,
Your choices are Babe Ruth, Harmon Killebrew, Jimmy Pearsall, Ty Cobb.
Jimmy Pearsall.
Jimmy Pearsall is correct the mundo. Now, here we go. Another easy one for you. And you can answer the question before I'm finished if you feel comfortable. Which city is the home to the National Baseball Hall of Fame?
Which city?
Yes.
Cooperstown.
Cooperstown, New York is correct. Which MLB player was the first to receive a unanimous vote into the National Baseball Hall of Fame?
Wait, start the question again.
Which MLB player was the first to receive a unanimous vote into the National Baseball Hall of Fame?
Is it Babe Ruth?
That is not Babe Ruth.
The
Uh,
first ever unanimous?
The first ever unanimous. A lot more recent than Babe Ruth.
Really? Clemente?
No, it's not Clemente.
What are
So
the options?
you're gonna smack yourself when you. The options are Clemente, which we already know. It's not the one. Willie Mays, Ken Griffey Jr., Mariano Rivera.
Willie Mays?
Willie Mays is incorrect.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? Clemente wasn't. It wasn't that he was unanimous. Is that they let him? They
Posthumously, they put him in
posthumously,
early. Yeah.
yeah. He was within the before that 5 years.
Hmm.
Uh,
So you're down to Griffey Jr. or Junior Griffey, as some people call him, and Mariano Rivera.
I didn't realize it was that recent. Griffey?
No. Correct
Really?
answer is Mariano Rivera. Yes.
I
Mariano was
mean,
the first ever unanimous player. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he might be the only Venezuelan in the Hall of Fame.
no, that can't be correct.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. I thought I heard that somewhere, but I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too.
But while you look that up, I'm going to read you this last question. Which team produced a fifth consecutive Rookie of the Year when Todd Hollandsworth received the award in 1996?
Todd Hollandsworth started out with the Rockies, right?
Would you like the multiple choice?
No, yeah.
Your choices are Red Sox, A's, Dodgers, Pirates. Almost said Steelers.
Wait, what's the question? Read the question again.
Which team produced a fifth consecutive Rookie of the Year when Todd Hollingsworth received the award in 1996?
And the teams were.
Got the Red Sox, the Dodgers, the A's, and the Pirates.
I thought he was on the Rockies. Todd Hollingsworth. Dodgers?
Dodgers is correct. Thank you for playing. Now, it looked like you were looking up to see if Mariano Rivera was the only Venezuelan in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
He is not. Luis Aparicio is the only
Lou
other Venezuela.
Aparicio. Yeah, Lou Aparicio. The speedy one himself. Lou Aparicio.
And they're saying Miguel Cabrera could be the next one or Felix Hernandez.
Well, it's going to be Cabrera.
And then,
Hernandez still playing, isn't he?
nah,
He's done?
I think he's been done for a year or two. Because remember, he had that freak arm injury. I think he was throwing the
Oh,
pitch, and then all of a sudden, like he was grabbing his arm, and he started like twitching.
oh
And
wow.
he
Okay.
was never the same since, unless I'm thinking of a different Felix Hernandez.
Well, before we go, I do want to say happy belated 100th birthday to Jackie Robinson's wife. Doggone it, just that fast. I'm so embarrassed. I forgot her name that fast. Let me put it up there. Um, I'm sorry. This is embarrassing. Hold on.
Rachel.
Rachel Robinson. Thank you very much. Happy belated 100th birthday to Rachel Robinson. Her birthday was 2 days ago. 100 years old, man. Wow. What a blessing. What a the stories that she could probably tell. Shoot, the stories she probably does tell. Such an amazing thing, an amazing feat, and you know, God bless her. God bless her.
Dude, I'm sitting here struggling at 42.
How about it? Any last words before we get out of here, Miguel?
Um, no, stay safe out there. COVID is real. Protect yourselves, love one another, and the Mets suck.
Mets will always suck in my book. Yes, stay hydrated out there. This summer is very hot, especially right now. We're in the middle of a heat wave, so definitely make sure you stay hydrated. Check on your peoples, check on your neighbors, and all that good stuff. And of course, if you missed any part of the show, you can check it out. You got? Did you get it?
No.
Damn it! If you missed any part of the show, you can check it out on YouTube. But if you don't have time to watch us, you can just listen to us. Check us out on Spreaker or Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff. Wherever you get your podcast, you can check us out there. We sound even better when you don't have to see our face. I promise you that. So check us out. But for Miguel and myself, we appreciate y'all being here. We'll check y'all next time here on the Check Swing Podcast. Peace.